Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dharma friends, and as ordinary people, ourselves sometimes we try to change the outside situations according to the way we want, because that we believe this environment is very important for us. And because of that, what we do, we always keep struggling with this outside things and time related with people and situations. So like that, we always try to struggle and change according to the way we want. And sometimes people get tired, especially regarding people. So today we're going to talk about this little bit. So when it comes to life, remember the most important thing, that before you come to any position, any place, there is something else come related to you. So that is the quality of your mind. So mostly that people don't think about this. It's like, as example, when you go to a place, you think it is you, the physically, the person you go. But before you take your body, your mind already go there. And even sometimes before your mind, there is something else going to be there. So as example, before you born, wherever in your position, so what came first? Before you born, what came first? And before you see a person, what came first? So that is what called our karma. So your karma always ahead of you. So this karma is nothing but your bodily, verbally or mentally action. And it is the result of bodily, verbally or mentally action. So the thing is, whatever you do in this very moment, related to your body, your mind, your words, it creates an environment around you. And so, and that become kind of energy, current, take you towards that way. The thing is this, that your physical or mental or verbal actions create this current already, and it create the path. And now already path is there, and then you take this body to a position. And once you go there, maybe you don't like it. So just struggling with outside people or outside situations, you cannot change it. Why? Because you don't see how you came to that point, how you get into that position. There was a hidden link inside you. So in day-to-day life, we try to struggle with, especially with the people and the places or the time and environment. But we don't see the link. So the link is within yourself. So how then you can fix it rather than struggling with the outside? And you cannot just change people. Sometimes there are sometimes situations come in life, you cannot do anything. You cannot do anything. You complete, it's kind of like you come to a dead end. You cannot, you cannot go anymore. You have to stuck there. And even sometimes there are times come in life, you cannot take U-turns. You cannot change the situation. You cannot go away from it. So then how are you going to deal if you're stuck in that kind of situation? So the very first thing that you have to remember, because some student gave this question, asked this question, asking how they can deal with this situation, especially with people. So now we focusing to outside and thinking, oh, I don't like this person, I don't like this person. So you focus to outside, and but you don't see the condition of you. Maybe you change that person, and still if you don't change your inner condition, what will happen? Even you go to another place, even not the place, sometimes even with the animals, even with the trees, nature, and you're going to get the same kind of discomfort. So that's why in the very first level that you have to remember, there is something go before you. There is something ahead. So that is karma. So the karma means the strength of your bodily, verbally or mentally action. So it creates the path. So then in case if you come to a point in life, situation in life, unpleasant, and you don't like, and then maybe difficult, you feel kind of like you're stuck in your life. So the very first thing that you have to remember, you are in trap. So when you recognize you are in trap, what you have to do, the very first thing, don't struggle. Why? If you struggle, you get tight, that's the very nature of trap. The very nature of trap, whoever gets stuck there, if the animal try to escape and that struggle, then it get tight, it get more locked. So the same thing with you also, with the environment, with the time, with the nature, with the people. So even with the situation, if you feel kind of like you stuck, the very first thing that you have to remember, don't struggle, calm down. And then other thing is, start to look, mostly we look through the windows. So when you able to get into kind of this vipassana level of understanding what is happening, you start to see with the window. Mostly we don't do that. We like to see through the window, and sometimes we forget we look through a window. But if you are able to see that you look through the window, and at the same time, whatever the view that you see, whatever the landscape that you see, if you are able to include the window also to that landscape, and you're going to see something else. That is what? It is your position. So same like in mind also, when we see other people, when we see other conditions, when we put a label, and this is difficult, hard, bad, I don't like this, I want to get out of this, like that. when we see others, we forget in what condition we see, in what kind of window, through what kind of window we see other people. And sometimes, as example, like this, you get angry, but you don't see it. And with that anger, maybe you see somebody, and then what happening? And you get disturbed about the other person and thinking that other person is don't like, that other person is bad, other person is wrong. But you don't see that your anger create that situation more worst. So, and if you are unhappy and if you are sad, worry, with that condition, what you see sometimes not going to be pleasant. So then why you say that other person or other situation or other the environment is wrong? Because maybe you see through the window, but you don't see the window. So then yourself get into a position always, whatever the situation come, rather than looking the outside and start to see your condition, you can change a lot. Because we can, when it come to the final point, remember, we cannot change others. Don't try to do it. You're going to break yourself. You cannot do. Maybe you have seen like wrestling, like aikido, like judo. When there is a point come, you know that the this mixed martial art, there is a point come, if somebody choke, you know, you tap. That's mean that's done, finish. You cannot go, you cannot hold anymore. Why? Otherwise you break it. So same like in life, remember, the very first thing, if an idea come to you to thinking to change other person, no, it's kind of like a tapping. Don't do that, because you're going to break it yourself, not others. So understanding that principle itself allow you to little bit calm down and relax. But if you start to think with the egocentric mind, no, I can do it, and you know that I am the boss, I can do it, I have done it in the past, or like that. And sometimes we get into situations and we go into inside the trap and we don't see in different ways, we get tight. So then how we can get out of this? So I tell you, you can get out of this through this technique. You can get out of through any kind of trap in the sansaric journey. You cannot, no any trap can hold you. It doesn't matter how hard, how difficult, how bad. Even you go to the any kind of bad people, the most difficult bad place is the hell, and the most difficult people that we can deal with, the demons. So this all invisible around us in the human form sometimes. So then how you can get out of the trap? So this is the technique. Remember, as I mentioned, before you get into trap somewhere in this journey, so your karma ahead before you. So then that the karma means your bodily, verbally and mentally actions. So wherever you are, whatever the position, just remember yourself and start to change your bodily, verbally and mentally actions. And in three ways. What are those three ways? Greed, hatred and delusion. And sometimes that, you know, we have common sense, and we go school and we go to universities, we studies and these things, and then we get certificates and rewards, and so everybody see, oh, you are so educated person. And sometimes we don't see the where the ignorance hide. So mostly what the most difficult part that we cannot see, more than the hatred, the greed, that is all over our body. Each and every cell sometimes full with the function with the greed, mostly. So if you cannot see that, maybe that is the biggest ignorance. So as example, you have a degree that maybe, so whatever the science or the technology, but how about if you eat too much sugar and get diabetes? And how about that you are a scientist and then you smoke and get lungs disease? So where that the wisdom or the knowledge? And you are kind of like a well educated person, but how about in day-to-day life, you come to a point you do very silly things. That the silly means behavior with the greed, maybe just eating in the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., sometimes you wake up and eat cereal. People really do that, and they need to eat cookies, sleeping and half sleeping, and they eat cookies. They need candy, that everywhere, sometimes in their house, in everywhere, nuts, whatever, wherever, even when they go to bathrooms, they are nuts. They take and eat. So this is like that. I have seen it, and I ask sometimes, why you eat this much? And what, when you eat? No, when I have, time, when I feel to eat something, this is very good. So and they try to offer me also, So that's the important, the greed all over us. So then be very careful in your life, whatever the situation come, because it has power to multiply, accelerate our deeper greed inside. We don't see it. So then be disciplined yourself, cut down little by little, especially if you feel this is not the life, that this is not the people that you want, this is not the place you want, this is not the environment you want. So it's kind of like, if you feel like you are trapped, as soon as possible, get into the path of the discipline, cut down the greed, especially with the eating. And then the desire to see things, hear things, smell things, associate people, so like that things also, but especially with the greed, the eating. If you able to handle, this is the thing, if you able to handle the eating habit, you can very easily handle that other, all your eye, ear, nose, tongue, the body, mind, that things. Try it. That's why from the ancient time, from the ancient time, the people do fasting. In the asceticism, the one of the major important part is cutting the too much intake. They don't eat that much, one meal, mostly one meal per day, because it helps us to reduce this, accelerates the power inside us. So try yourself. Especially if you want to transform your life to a spiritual path from this ordinary life, the very first step that you have to take, and be disciplined with what you eat. Try, then you will see. At least try 1 week. Change your eating pattern and see. That's so. Without knowing Sometimes mostly we eat for our desires. We feed to our desires, not our body. So that's why mostly people take vitamins, and that's why people take a lot of extra kind of that the energy to feed the desires, not for the body. The body doesn't mean that. Body no need that much food. So the very first thing, that's why, we develop big science to go to, other planets, maybe go to Mars, we dreaming, go there. But in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock, if you cannot stop eating cookies or the cereal or candy or nuts, what the point? Where the mind? So that's why, remember yourself, get into eating discipline. Don't afraid to say no to whatever the things that other people eat. But you don't need to eat like that. So change the desire with the greed and the hatred, anger. So it come in different ways. Even sometimes the anger come in kind of like in very friendly ways. We don't see that. But that's why you have to develop the loving kindness meditation without any conditions, thinking, may all living beings. So that will help you to release it little bit. So then sometimes you cannot find the anger where it is in your life. You don't see it. Maybe you have anger regarding yourself, maybe you have anger regarding your parents or the brothers, sisters, or the friends and family members. Maybe you have the anger regarding your husband, wife, children. In different ways, you don't see it. And sometimes you cannot find it. It is so dark, deep. So then what you have to do? And start to apply the medicine. Wherever it is okay. So what is the medicine that you, every day, morning, night, just have a thought, may all living beings be well and happy. Don't put any condition. Really mean it yourself. That you will see that from most of the traps, difficulties, you're going to get out. It is kind of like a magic pill. It is kind of like a red pill. And may all living beings be well and happy. You're not going to get into wrong people. So even you get into that kind of people, because there are worldly conditions we cannot change. Even you get into that kind of situation, so the people's environment, there is no harm going to be. There is no kind of like a bad going to happen. It always going to divert you to something good, something good. So then yourself get out of the anger. And if you see it right away, get out of it and forgive people. So that is the best gift that you can give to others. Release them, forgive them. Because people do things according to different conditions. Sometimes they have no idea it is bad. So maybe you get hurt, but they don't know even you got hurt. So then yourself, it is better forgive them and develop the loving kindness yourself. And the ignorance, sometimes it is inherent within us and we cannot see it. So then keep the open heart yourself, open mind, and every day try to learn something. And look for, rather than looking and counting your difficulties, trouble and unhappiness, sadness, worry, and always every day look for something good and learn something yourself. And be related with something and be harbor and anchoring to some kind of path of wisdom. Any religion, it doesn't matter. And when it go to that, I tell you here something, rather than going to this bestseller books, it is a marketing. This bestseller book, if you have money, you can get that title. Even for any junk, any ignorance, that edition, you can make it a bestseller book if you have money. If you have a good investor, that you can get it. It's like a TV. They put anything. They put as advertisement anything. They don't care if you give the money. So same like that. But if you able to get into the authentic teachings rather than these people's ideas, this rather than these secret books, get into the authentic the knowledge, and that is where you can find the real wisdom. So it is available. Anybody, if you are Buddhist, you can go to Buddha's the Tripitaka Sutra once a while, little bit, even the Dhammapada, that anybody can read it. So you go online and just even YouTube, there are people now reading books for you. If you don't like to read, there that you can hear the audio. You go to Dhammapada, you go to Tripitaka, so you hear it little bit, not too much. And then if you are Catholic Christian, you go to the Bible and you hear a little bit every day. There are apps, and that every day one chapter, little bit, one page. You download it and just keep hearing, rather than reading others these ideas or the books. It is sometimes not valid what they think about life. Why? Because you are in a completely different situation. And if you are Muslim, then you go to Quran and read it, rather than listening to some other people's and trying to brainwash you. You go to the original teachings and you see it. So like that, always look the authentic teachings and try to accumulate wisdom through that. So that way you find a path, and whatever the condition, try this for 7 days. Whatever the people, whatever the difficulties, whatever the problems. So it's kind of like way that you transform. That doesn't mean that people are going to change. No, the condition in your mind going to become changed, and you become more comfortable person to go with and bear the situations, and you don't get disturbed out of it. That is the most, that the beautiful thing, that if you can develop. And also that is the most dangerous things for other people. Why? If you don't get disturbed from anybody, then that other people are going to afraid for you. So yourself, then no one going to get closer to you and put in you a trap. Why people come and disturb you? Because they know out of that, whatever they do, you get disturbed. But once they know you are not going to get disturbed, they're going to go away from you. And there are two places sometimes people come and disturb. One is, if you are too weak, remember, a lot of people are going to come. That's the very behavior even with the animal also. It's this animal behavior. If you are weak, most of people are going to disturb you. Even your husband, wife, children, friends and family members, brothers, sisters, and neighbors. So another one is, if you are strong, no one going to touch you. Try it. That strong mean it can be physically, mentally, and economically. So in different ways. But if you are strong, people are not going to disturb you. So this is one way. Once you become strong spiritually, that disturbance not going to happen to you. So otherwise, if you are weak, that weakness is your responsibility, not others, because you neglect yourself. That's why you become weak spiritually yourself. So then no one can stop you if you start to become strong spiritually and get out of that yourself greed. And then if you are able to get out of the anger, and if you are able to get out of the ignorance yourself, most of the disturbances going to go away. If you look back, as I mentioned, whatever the position you come, before you come to that place, your mind, your very nature create a path for you to go to that place. If you take time and observe yourself, whatever the difficulties came to you, or whatever you think it is bad, horrible, sad, unhappy, take time and start to look. You will see there is a reason within yourself. That's why you had to experience that. So, changing yourself through this greed, hatred, and the delusion, and taking out this nature, purifying yourself, and you find a way to release the trap. And it is not for one day. Even in the sansaric journey, you're not going to get into that kind of difficult time. So I think this will help for you. And try yourself. And without trying, just hearing, maybe this doesn't work. So you have to try, at least try for 7 days, and then you will see. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ittavata ca ammihi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sambe bhutanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sambe sattanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahanotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.